Yay. And so we have That's me breaking one of Kayak's rules of air travel back in 2018. You're not supposed to clap when the planes land because a slight majority of site users on Kayak says it's pointless, the crew can't hear anyway. The Kayak guidelines are extensive and some will come as a surprise. For instance, feel free to skip ahead in the security line if you're late. Most people say they don't really mind. Chatting to your seatmates, that's better than talking to friends in other rows, and it is quite acceptable. And here's something that's definitely prohibited: bare feet. Your fellow passengers would prefer you to keep your shoes and socks on. My husband, Chris, has never forgiven me ever since he saw me changing the channel on the video monitor with my bare foot. Kayak CEO Steve Hafner joins me from Miami. I'm guessing that, I mean, he was horrified and has never let me forget it. I'm guessing that's an absolute no-no. But I mean, what's the difference in using my foot or using my finger?
It depends if you put your fingers in your shoes, Richard. Oh my, yeah, that's a definite no-no. Thanks for having me on, by the way. Great to see you.
Good to see you. I'm looking down the list. You are allowed to watch your seatmate's screen because people don't think that's weird. And I have to say, I've spent whole flights watching this seat across the aisle without any sound and enjoying the movie.
You know, some movies are better without sound, but yeah, I mean, it's a pretty fun package of plane etiquette. You know, some of this stuff I think would be common sense, but it seems like every day in the news there's another report of unruly passengers. So our marketing department decided to have a little fun and ask 1,000 people in the U.S. and Canada what the rules were, and there's a lot of good nuggets there,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
some surprising consensus too.
Absolutely. And you've also come up with this new tool to help you score best holiday flights, and how that's, I mean, I'm the worst at this because I wait and wait and wait, even though I know the principles of dynamic pricing, and then I'm surprised when yield management tells me I've got to pay twice as much.
Well, the airlines thank you for your purchasing behavior, but for everyone else in your audience, you know, you can use this new tool. If you tell Kayak your travel dates or the preferred length, that is, and then where you'd like to go, the city pair, we'll search our database and tell you what's the best time to try to get a great deal. And it's if you're flexible in your travel plans in terms of dates, we can actually help you save a ton of money. And airfares right now, they're coming down, but they're still at pretty high levels. So it's something your audience should really use.
And if we see oil going over $100 a barrel, it won't be long before either the surcharges go back up or we see. So there's this interesting moment. You know, it was a very busy summer and it was a pretty horrible summer as well for many flyers. And there's no indication to me that it's going to ease off because the bucket list and the unpent demand is still there.
I would quibble with that. You know, based on the data that we have at Kayak, it seems like we're heading into a more traditional fall travel season, which means fewer people traveling than over the summer, and that's being reflected in the prices that we see. So if you look at airfares, they're about down 5% from this time last year. Hotel rates are down 9% from last year, except in New York City because of the Airbnb effect. And then rental cars are down 16% versus last year. So prices are falling. Not to say that it's cheap. It's certainly still expensive to fly. Most of us would say still too expensive to fly, but it is getting better.
Right, but you know, every flight I'm on is full. It's extraordinary at the moment. I mean, I flew over from London on Friday night, packed. It'll be packed when I fly back again, which I suppose is good at one level, but it does make finding the bargains that little bit more difficult, particularly if you don't really want to book early.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest change that's gone on in the airline industry coming out of the pandemic is business travelers haven't come back in full force, which means that they're not subsidizing the folks in the back like me. So, you know, the leisure fares feel high, and then occupancy in the back of the plane is also high. And that's because you don't have first class and business class paying the same amount as before, where airlines could afford to keep fares high and keep the back relatively empty.
Steve, you'll be delighted to know my husband Chris has just texted me that he is delighted that you are as horrified by my actions as he clearly was. And good to see you as always, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good to see you too.